This goes out to all the woke white South Africans and all the woke black Americans, African Americans, whatever you call yourselves. Now names and labels change a lot. This goes out to you. Please don't be too woke. Don't be so woke that you accept darkness. Which, yes, that's ironic given we're dark. But please don't be so accepting and so anti-ethnocentric that you blur the lines between good and evil, bad and good, good and evil, right and wrong. There is still a morality, whether it's you're a Christian nation, an African ancestral nation, there is still a wrong and a right. Child sacrifice, even if it's done by us in Africa, is still wrong. Female genital mutilation is still wrong, regardless of the fact that so many of our people, not us thankfully, but of our people on the continent still do it, regardless of the fact that a mother will hold her own daughter, force her legs apart and cut where she should have never, where a blade should never be, and then so tightly that she is damaged forever, where fistulas form and their bladders leak for the rest of their lives. It is wrong. I don't care that it's cultural. It's bad. Just because it's cultural doesn't necessarily mean it's okay. Doesn't mean we should not judge it. So I was irritated by, there was some real, I hate this Facebook thing now where I pick and choose the pages I follow and the people I follow, right? But reels come up on my wall. I don't know if you know how to get rid of them, but reels come up and it's different things. Some are cute, some are about Down syndrome. You know, it's interesting, different things. Some are not so cool. And there was a video that divided a lot of the commenters. There was a little girl, baby girl, wearing a onesie, a vest onesie. You know, the one that you clip underneath, but it wasn't clipped, and she was twerking. She was twerking to a South African who has made it big overseas. And of course, people are saying, how can you be so happy that that child, little baby, still in a nappy, is doing those kinds of movements when she shouldn't be? It's wrong. What are we teaching our little girls? And of course, many saying, well, no, there's no daddy who's going to be happy to see his little baby doing that. And others were saying, oh, the poor baby doesn't know anything better, anything, she's just copying. And then there were the people who said, but it's in her culture. It's not sexual, it's her culture. Guys, Africa had no God. The way we work, the way we do things, it wasn't right. We killed. Killing is wrong, whether you're African or Western, whether you're a savage or a civilian, whether you're in Ukraine or in DR Congo, it is still wrong. And so shaking your bum in a sexualized manner is wrong, whether you're South African or American. It is wrong. It is sexual, and sexual stuff really should not be shown to 2-year-olds. Really, truly, no. Or 1-year-old, however old the baby was. But that's not the point. I don't want to start going into dancing at all, but it just irritated me that people said it's okay because it's her culture. Her culture looked very bedroom-like. It was gross. It was really, it's okay, it's not dignified. Let's put it that way. It's not dignified and decent. You wouldn't do it in polite society. Though this day and age, polite society and what would be done and not be done is kind of blurred. But yes, let us not say that cultural practices are correct just because they're cultural. If it's in your culture, it's wrong. Think about it first. Is it right just because a certain group of people do it? Should the Amazonians or certain people in the Amazon still go around scalping people? Should they still go and eat people? Should cannibalism still be practiced because it's their culture? And so I come to death on that note. We had witch doctors. I grew up and those people were called witch doctors. Witch doctors were bad. They did bad things. And then you had herbalists who used herbs to heal. Those were two very distinct groups of people. Herbalists, naturalists, natural doctors, whatever you want to call them, and witch doctors. But then we came into freedom, and the South African government then said, they're not witch doctors anymore. That name is negative. They're traditional healers. Traditional healers. Yes, they heal your ailments using traditional means, which means they want the finger, the eye, the heart of a living human being. Muti killings, as they are called, still continue today. Whether you call them a traditional healer, whether you say they're part of the medical field, they're still killing. They're still evil. Satan has a lot of power. He will make something look good. He will make something acceptable when it's truly not. So they exist, and if you want to get rich, if you want to curse your neighbor, you go and they tell you, okay, bring a live chicken. Oh no, this one is not good enough. You can't even bring 2 live chickens. You need to find me an albino child and bring their hand. Sometimes they go and dig up a corpse, but then they get told it has to come from a living human being. It must be fresh, this body part that you're bringing me. I don't care how African loving you are, how Africa loving you are. If you condone a cultural practice, because it's African, it is cultural, it's traditional, you are part of the problem. Killing for the sake of tradition is still killing. You're still taking the life of an innocent person. It's interesting how that person never comes and chops off their own hand and says, okay, Mr. Witch Doctor, traditional healer, here's my hand, you can have mine, I'm living. They go and kidnap innocent children, women, men, kill them, or cut their pieces off, whatever organ it is, or organs that they will take from them, and then kill them. They sell people's bodies so that those people's bodies can be, people sell people's bodies, kidnap and sell, so that those people's bodies can be used in rituals, in sacred African rituals. Yes, it's a big stretch from dancing in a sexualized manner to murder, but it's all under the umbrella of tradition. And again, I say, if we start excusing one wrong just because it's tradition, then we have to excuse them all because it's tradition. It's okay. It's not okay. Please stand with us here in Africa who also agree that it's not okay. Not all of our traditional practices are right. Just like the West that used to go around pillaging and raping, just like they went and they conquered and they raped. The West was also savage, by the way. Westerners who act like killing started with us. We've all murdered. We all still actually do murder. And wherever the murder is happening, Palestine, Ukraine, South Africa, Syria, it is wrong. And it begins with the little steps. The reason why it can become normal and normalized and allowed is because we start accepting the little things that are actually quite big, and that they prepare us to accept worse and worse traditional or cultural practices. So what if Vendas or Sutus or Tsongas dance in a sexualized manner? They shouldn't then. They shouldn't in that case. Just like the reed dance. Remember the reed dance in Eswatini, what was formerly known as Swaziland, where the virgins go along and they are naked, topless, and they go around jiggling around, and then the king just chooses another woman to sleep with and marry. That's not right either. Yes, it's culture, but we are more than just the movement of our bodies. We are more than just the presentation of our nakedness. I won't even go into the whole concept of men having multiple wives. I won't even go into that. But I will say that the practice of choosing a wife based on her externals is misogynistic. It is wrong. End of story. I'm an African. I will say it proudly. Not all African practices are wrong, are right. Not all African practices should continue. And you should not ever, please don't excuse our wrongs just because we are doing them. I know you love the motherland, as you call it, but the motherland is not always good. I mean, we did sell some of our people to become slaves. We did have slaves of our own. We are not perfect. We kill each other. We abuse each other. The motherland is not some land of milk and honey where there's peace. We ourselves hate each other. I've just said it before. We hate people across a border that we didn't even create, and we hate them. And yet they are our own brother and sister, and we murder them. So I just beg of you, please see with, deep eyes. See with your heart, not with what is okay. Wrong is wrong, no matter who is doing it, no matter what the reason is. We could all do with improving and progressing into civilization, true civilization, where a person is chosen as a wife because of the character, the personality, and maybe even where a person is only married to one person. Maybe the AIDS rate might just go down if a man with AIDS doesn't then marry 7 other women and then have children with them. It might, just a little bit. It might decrease just a little bit, I'm just saying. But yes, that is normal in some cultures. And here in South Africa. So yeah, when you stand up for us, please stand up for us for the right reason. Please don't defend us when we're doing wrong. Oh yes, I remember the other thing, I said white woke people of South Africa. I joined, South Africa, as you know, is complex and complicated. So there was a group about dialogues between races, and really it was about teaching white people in South Africa about how racist they are. Their inbred unconscious biases, their microaggressions, which don't feel very micro but quite macro, all of that. People were learning, different articles were shared, research was shared, books were suggested, all of that. And then people would say, but what about the fact that it tends to be Black people who burn schools down, who burn community centers down, who stone other cars, who stone buses, public transportation? And the woke whites, who are very woke, would say, that's an expression of distress and frustration. We can't ever denounce it, because what else do they have? They have to let out their frustration. No, it's still wrong. People are dying in those bus attacks. People are still dying in those service delivery protests. People are being maimed and injured, disabled, under the guise of frustration, expression of frustration. It's wrong. It's dangerous. It holds us back. Who is going to pay to fix those universities that have been trashed? Who's going to pay to fix those desks that they've damaged? Who's going to pay to repair the burnt lecture halls? Who suffers? The very people who need those institutions the most. The people who go to the community clinics that get burnt down are the people who can't afford to go to a private doctor while waiting for the community clinic to be repaired and rebuilt. Please, wrong is wrong. No matter what the reason may be, wrong is wrong. There are better ways of protesting. We've seen peaceful marches. We've seen hundreds and thousands of Palestinian supporters marching through the streets of Cape Town. No violence whatsoever. We can do it. We can protest peacefully. It is very possible. There are peaceful protests that do happen. And so I beg of you, please don't defend what is actually defenseless and indefensible, really. Not defenseless, but indefensible. Crime is crime. It was a crime in the old government. It's still a crime today, though our presidents don't really seem to talk much against it. But looting and burning and hurting and killing, no matter what the reason is wrong. So there for you too. Please don't stand up for us so much that you allow us to do something that we shouldn't be doing. Thank you.